Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry. So today we're going to talk about that holy grail that people love to talk about all the time, and that's really TEDx talks. But before that, we're celebrating 24 years of Pam Perry PR. So I want to give you a little bit of tidbit about this. This is kind of cool. I love this song. Bobby Ivory did this for me.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone with Pam Perry PR. 24 years strong, she know the do's and don'ts. 24 years stepping over traps, smashing clickbait, so you stay on track. She still got game, world-class PR, going hard in the paint for beginners and saints. Check it. Pam Perry PR, making all the moves, working her magic so you don't lose. Pam Perry making your dreams come true. She know what to do. 24 years in the game, put some respect on her name. 24 years in the game, put some respect on her name. We got mad love for Pam Perry PR. Keep doing your thing, you know what I mean. Bye, leave that, do your thing. Pam Perry PR, 24 years strong and still standing tall.
Hey there. So I have my guest coming on. He is a magician coming all the way from, looks like he's coming all the way from California. So we're going to have him come on, and Jay is going to talk about this TEDx talk. I'm going to say he's a magician. He's actually a comedian, a magician, a speaker. He got all the things going on. So we're going to have Jay come on right after this. And we're celebrating 24 years in business, but 7 years of Speakers Magazine. Okay?
This July, we joyfully celebrate 7 years of amplifying voices with Speakers Magazine. Since its inception in 2017 by the visionary Dr. Pam Perry, this pioneering platform has consistently elevated Black Americans, connecting them with meeting planners and organizations worldwide. Every voice has the power to be inspired by change. Our mission is to ensure these voices are not just heard, but sought after. Dr. Perry's mission was clear: to create a movement, not just a magazine, recognizing the need for a dedicated space where Black American speakers could shine. She aimed to bridge gaps in representation and ensure that often marginalized voices are heard loud and clear. The magazine's inaugural cover featured Dr. George C. Frazier, a titan in business networking and economic development, who has dedicated his life to uplifting Black businesses and communities. This set the tone for what Speakers Magazine would embody: a platform for influential voices, leading by example and making significant impacts. Over the past 7 years, Speakers Magazine has featured over 80 remarkable individuals on its covers, each bringing unique perspectives and transformative insights to audiences globally. These cover stories are testaments to the resilience, brilliance, and enduring spirits of leaders, innovators, and changemakers within the Black American community. Notable additions include Stephanie Mills, the legendary singer, actress whose transition from the stage to advocacy has spurred social action, and Kim Coles, whose messages of self-love and acceptance resonate deeply. Ed Gordon, a respected journalist, provided profound insights into the craft of storytelling through journalism. Speakers Magazine is not just about covers. It's about the stories within. These stories offer readers a glimpse into the journeys of extraordinary individuals, their challenges, triumphs, and the impact they're making in their fields. Each edition is filled with valuable content that helps speakers hone their craft, from public speaking tips to personal branding and digital marketing insights. As Speakers Magazine steps into its 8th year, Dr. Pam Perry's vision continues to expand. The publication remains an invaluable resource for meeting planners seeking speakers who are leaders in their fields and committed to making a difference. Here's to more years of impactful storytelling, transformative conversations, and a continued commitment to elevating voices that have the power to change the world. Happy anniversary, Speakers Magazine. Keep speaking, keep inspiring. Visit speakersmagazine.com to learn more and join the celebration.
Okay. I will give full disclosure. That was my husband doing that voiceover. He did the script. He did all the things on that. So that was like my anniversary gift for 7 years for Speakers Magazine. So let me indulge because 7 years of doing it every single month. Every single month. I've got July's issue right here every single month. But today I'm bringing you to the stage, Jay. There you go. There you go, sir.
Yes.
How are you?
Yeah. Listen, I don't know. Maybe I need to get a wife and get her to do my voiceovers, you know? Like, you know, I just look, at least you didn't have to, at least he didn't have to invoice you.
Right,
So
right. I did. I did not have to invoice him, but that was like one of the things I was like, you have a voiceover career. Please do this for me. He was
yeah,
like, do you have copy? I was like, no, I don't have copy. All I have is covers. That's all I'm doing. So
right,
he put it all together. Thank you.
right.
Thank you. It was a little long. He said, do you think it's too long? I said, listen, I've been doing this 7 years. 3 minutes is not that long. Okay. Well,
That's it.
good, good. Well, Jay, I wanted you to come on because we met online. We met at Jay Jaye Live. That's where you are over here. Jay Jaye Live. That's you on IG. So you on IG, and I love IG. I love hanging out on IG. And you have some things that your career has been in comedy, magician. That's you're always engaging the audience. It was something that I read that you pickpocket audiences. I was like, okay, dude, what's going on with that? So give us your backstory because it's very, very interesting about what you do and how you do it, and then how you leverage that to the holy grail of TEDx talks. And
Sure.
how many views have you had on your TEDx talk?
You know what? I'm about to have mine, so I can't say I've had mine yet. But we've been able to place people on TEDx stages around the
Yes.
world. So it's different for me. It's like because I know I can get it on them. I'm kind of like in the background waiting to like when am I ready to go on, or when do I want to do it, right? So it's not a like a pain for me right now, but I kind of want to make it go big. And we always want to define the message, right? Define the very clear narrative
Yes.
because I've got so many that I want to do. So look, firstly, it's great to be here and it's great to be able to congrats on being able to help speakers share their message and share their impact, Pam, and create an income with our voice. I think communication
Yes.
is so important now, especially with this and especially with
Mhm.
digital, that I really feel that if you can be effective communicators, better speakers, and get people to comprehend what you're saying, like everything becomes easier. Sales become easier, connections become easier, relationships become easier. You ask everyone from a salesperson to a dating coach to just generally a mom, what do they all talk about? Communication. You
Mhm.
communicate better with the person that you want to date. You communicate better with the person that you're trying to show them if this is the right option for them. And you
Mhm.
communicate better with your kids to not maybe make those decisions. So I really think what you're doing is great in giving people the platform and the ability to promote themselves too, because most speakers suck at business.
Yeah,
And I
they
was
don't like the market. They don't like the marketing
well,
part. They just
well, this is where I came from, right? I came from show business. Exactly what those words are. Show was here, and business was here for me.
yeah.
So, like, how many people do we see who are speakers, artists, entertainers that are amazing, and you're like, but they're broke, or they're struggling, and then they have to eventually go do something else, but they forget the gifts and talents of what the big man above said that you should do.
Mhm.
So that's kind of
Mhm.
where I started. I started as in musical theater and entertainment. I became a magician, which is a very odd thing. Like who becomes a magician? I don't know.
My cousin was always wanting to be a magician. He's still like at every Christmas
Do
dinner
magic
or
shows.
whatever. Yeah, we gotta listen. We gotta watch his magic shows and
Well,
all that good
I
stuff.
was just the young chap that said, you know what, I'm going to push the card tricks a little further and maybe
Yes.
make this a career. So for about 15 years, I was working around the world, engaging audiences from birthday parties to corporate events. And then, throughout that transition, though, it was very challenging for me because I didn't understand the big things. It was like, I didn't realize it's not about talent. Like, it's not about being the best speaker or the best magician or the
No.
best product. Like, you got to figure out this marketing thing or business thing, or at least the promotion thing. So people can be like, hey, I saw you. I like you. Can you come to my event? And
Yes.
so many years I struggled because I didn't understand that, because we get told the dream of like, just be really good. Just dream. but that's not reality.
You've got to
That's
sell.
not that.
Got to
Yeah,
sell.
you got to sell, and you got to find a way to get yourself out there. And I think now, wouldn't you agree, Pam, that attention is like that new currency?
Oh my
Like
God.
you
Yeah, I
have
mean, you could have, I see so many people on Instagram and their content is slamming and there's nobody liking their stuff. I was like, what are people watching? They're
yeah,
watching, I don't know, they have too many choices. So yeah, the attention
right.
is the thing. That is,
Yeah.
even if they say, oh, well, I was on CNN. Well, not everybody's even gonna watch CNN. They got so many other options. They got news now and this and that. Well, it's like the attention is the new currency. That is
And it's not one thing too. You know, the one thing I realized is you can't just be in one article or just probably be in one podcast or one show and be like, okay, like give me all the gigs, give me all the
mhm,
leads. And I think a
mhm.
lot of people, and this is what I like about you, like you don't kind of like, we call it in Australia, it's Australian accent. We don't beat around the bush, right? I live in America now, but Australians, we're very like, we're usually pretty down to earth and we tell it straight. And I
Yes,
think sometimes the American culture is a little bit like a
dragging
little
it
bit,
out.
yeah, just a little bit kind of like you can just do it with this one post or this one article or this one time. I'm
Mhm.
like, it doesn't work like that. So like what I like about you is that you're actually giving people a plan and a vision. And that's kind of to transition. I was a magician, then I moved on to like hosting and speaking because I wanted to get away from the tricks. I wanted to get away from the prop in front of me to like now I use my words and I
Yeah.
use my charisma and my engagement. And then it was an easy transition to like work around the world as a speaker. And I'm not going to lie, there's nothing better when you get flown business class. I remember my first trip business class. I never flown business class, like international. I was like the biggest like guy thinking I was so cool. I went to the airport 4 hours earlier just so I could have a shower. It was in the morning. I just had a shower. I'm like, I'm going to have another shower because I deserve it. And, you know, getting flown over and then, you know, being appreciated for all the hard work that you've built for
It's
so
like
many
feel
years.
it's a celebrity. It feels like you're the rock star.
It is.
I think people like that. They
Yeah.
want that experience of what it might be to be Beyonce or Taylor Swift, right? It's like I am in that business class. I have the I have an entourage.
Yeah, I feel important. I feel appreciated, and every
Mhm.
person we need that. And it's such a great feeling where you can share you and you can share what you do best, and people appreciate that with not only financial terms but also just like some of the perks that this business gets. Like if we have any speakers listening right now, like we are in such a great business because you have the ability to speak everywhere,
Mhm.
virtual, you know, podcasts. Well, virtual is podcast, but like webinars, like Instagram lives, events,
Discord.
workshops,
I saw
trainings.
somebody doing something in Discord the other
Yeah,
day, Mighty Networks. I was like,
money
this
network. Yeah, yeah. So now it's like it's really our chance now because everyone is so behind their phone and everyone's scared to talk. Like it's still the number one fear in the world, public speaking. You know
yeah,
that?
that's
It's still the
that
number
used
one.
to be the thing. It did. JJ, people would say the number one fear next to death is if fear of speaking. But I'm thinking like I have not met those people. I guess maybe I don't know, but most people are not afraid to speak. Everybody wants to speak now,
You know,
and
I think people are giving confidence now. I think people realize they won't die, they fly, right? I think because now people are like, well, if she can do it, and I'm
that's
like
true.
more prettier than her, and like we have this kind of like, if he can do it, I can do it, right? Which is
Yeah, they could see it online. It's like if they have, if I know my video will be better than their
yeah, yeah.
video. So yeah,
Sometimes healthy competition, which drives you, is not a bad thing, right?
that's
Like
true.
the reason I got into speaking actually was interesting. I was always speaking, but I saw a guy on stage make a lot more money than me, and I knew I was better than him. And I said, if this guy could do it, and he's not even funny, I'm gonna do it, right?
That's it.
And it's funny what sometimes we need that an internal like drive to be like, if he can do it, I can do it. And then
Mhm,
obviously you figure out how to make the game work, and then you get
mhm,
to speak around the world and have a lot of fun.
mhm. So from being a comedian, magician, entertainer, music, you're used to stages, you're used to spotlight,
Yeah.
but speaking is not as celebrated as the entertainment world. So when you're speaking, what are some of the main topics that people are bringing you in to speak on? Sometimes they say, in order to be a paid speaker, you need
Mm,
to come in and speak and solve a problem. So
right.
what problem are you solving with your communication, with your talk, with your webinar or your workshop or whatever? What is the main thing that you're sharing with people?
It's a great question because that's something I struggle to understand. Because my problem was I didn't know how to go from entertainer host,
Mhm.
right, which is a value of kind of cash flow and events you get because you're in the
Mhm.
entertainment bucket. Let's say for corporate, 20% is entertainment, 80% is training. So they need to spend money on training. So they'll go to events and get speakers. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to transition that because I thought, well, I'm just good and they'll like that. But people don't want rah rah, hoo ha, and energy all the time. That's a byproduct of what you do. But they really do want you to come in and solve some kind of challenge or
Yeah.
problem. So where I came in because I was self-promoted for my whole life. I didn't have an agent or a manager or a rich dad. I'm from Australia. We don't have like this entertainment Hollywood life. And this is 2000, this is like 2002, right? So it's a
Mm,
long time ago. It's 22 years ago. So I'm
mhm.
like 14, right? I didn't know what to do. So I didn't know how to transition. So I had to figure out, okay, well, I've been really good at self-promotion and how to stand out of the crowd and how
Mhm.
to basically position my business compared to everybody else. So now a lot of these business owners are realizing that they can't do traditional marketing anymore. The old like advertising and just like waiting on
Yeah,
referrals
right.
is going to keep you in a very non-scalable place. So a lot of times they brought me in and they said, hey Jay, like you've been able to like basically be a global kind of speaker and like build a brand. We have all these insurance agents or real estate guys or lawyers. Everyone needs to stand out. How do you differentiate yourself?
Yes.
I would use the magic of media, the magic of obviously personality, and then personal branding. Because
Yes.
people are buying into you. Like, as you know, like Pam, if there are 5 speakers on the list for people to choose, and let's say you're all the same speaker, leadership
Mhm.
speaker,
Mhm.
why does the committee choose you over me? Right? What is that? Is well, we're all good, we're all credible. There must be a connection. What are we connecting over? Why do they like me? Something about me draws something about you draws me in compared to them choosing someone else.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
kind of where I came into the space.
Ah. So that is one of the things where speakers need to understand if there is a whole room or lawyers or insurance agents, well, how do you solve this problem to build a personal brand? And personal branding, like in 2000, early 2000 was not a thing. I just had a podcast right before this one. We were talking about personal branding and how
Mm,
she worked in corporate her whole life.
right.
And and a lot of people work in corporate their whole life. And then when they're getting ready to leave, it's like I need a brand now. I my brand was my corporate identity. Now I need a brand. So
Mm,
if they ever want to do entrepreneurship, you're going to need a brand because people buy into you, what you
yeah.
know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
So the TEDx, why is other than the fact that I know that TEDx gets a lot of views, but your idea has to be worth sharing. But what is it about the TEDx that
Mm,
speakers just feel like if I don't have a TEDx, I'm gonna lose my mind? Like it's almost the way it was with Oprah. Like I have a book and I want to get on Oprah years
right.
ago because that's like the holy grail. She'll make
Right.
me a millionaire. So
Right.
what is it about TEDx that people really want? Because there's TEDx events that are independently organized,
Hmm.
and if you know anything about that, I wanna tell people that you don't make money by being an independently organizer for TEDx.
Mm,
That is not a career to have.
yeah.
You do that in addition to, or
Right.
it's part of a strategy or something.
Right.
So
Right.
explain the whole TEDx, philosophy, I guess you would say.
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, let's break it down. TEDx is really nothing than just a circle on a stage.
There
It's
you
not
go.
that is special, but what the special about it is the brand. Like Oprah's just a TV show with a woman
Mhm,
speaking, but it's Oprah who has this massive
mhm,
celebrity and the viewership. So TEDx for me, the way I explain to speakers, it's like having a bestseller book back in the day, right?
mhm,
Everyone wants one, and a lot of people still use that. But the challenge is that you only can share and they have to read it. With TEDx, it can go to mass audience very fast.
very fast. Yeah.
It's going to be more challenging to do that with a book. Even if you have a brand, it's just a lot more challenging. But with the video, you send a link, right?
Mhm,
So the thing
mhm.
is, it's a lot more easy shareable. So I know a lot of people, and people we've even put on stages, that's their main authority play to drive their business forward. Because at the end of the day, there's multiple ways to do it. And
Yeah.
like TEDx has been a great segue for people to be like, this is my talk, this is what I'm known for. And if you can figure out a way on how to make it curious, engaging, and shareable, then you can really get this out to the world, and people see that, they go, hey, we love what she says, or he says, let's bring them in and pay them 25,000 to speak about our event. So
That's the dream. I don't know if that happens a lot, because I
it
know a
doesn't
lot
happen
of people.
all the time, but it's a great in. And I'll give people a piece of advice when you're creating one, because it's not as hard if you're smart on how to get in front of the organizers. You guys can figure out. It's just, you have to kind of work it and follow up and reach out, and they have to like you. So it's work. But the hardest part is figuring, okay, once you figure out a way to get a TEDx talk, okay, what is the message that's going to be? Not what you think the message is going to be. What is going to actually work to get people to share it? So what you do, go on TEDx, look at the most viewed videos, and ask yourself as a watcher and a listener, why is there 17 million views on this video? What is it about it? Is it the title? Is it he does something interesting? Does she say something that inspires curiosity? Does she make you think? So you got to try to figure out your speech and go, okay, I am the leadership coach for people who've dealt through trauma. Great, but no one really cares about that. Like, what they care about is the thing, the idea, the thing that makes you really different. So they go, hey, I never thought about that. I never discovered that before, because I know what trauma is, but like, you're giving me a different perspective or a different curiosity. Yeah.
That is really smart. I never thought, because I watch TEDx based on my interest of what I want to watch, right?
I'm the same too. Yeah.
But I don't go to TEDx and look at like what is the most viewed and really analyze it from the standpoint what made that. Now I'll do that with books. I do that with books all day, because I've been doing a literary publicist for years. So
Yeah.
I'll do that with books. Like, why is this a bestseller? Why do people like, so I'll do that with books, but I've never done that with TEDx.
Yeah.
Just from the standpoint that I always feel like it is there's so many other ways to go viral. I guess people are just wanting to go viral with the TEDx talk, and it's like, you've got to wait to have a TEDx in order to go viral. It's like, no, you just have to have a really good message in order for it to go viral. I mean, Jay Jaye, he's a guy who has a podcast. He went viral with Cat Williams, and he wasn't on TEDx. So, so you just have to have something to say. That's really like the bottom line. You have to have something to say, and really
Right.
studying the TEDx style. What I know, that I had 2 clients that have done TEDx talks. One is Nikichi, and I said, do you want to do another one? She says, no, ma'am. She said, because it was rigorous preparing for it.
Of course.
And she'd been speaking about this particular subject for years and really had her way about doing it. But the TEDx way, they want her to deliver it another way.
Right.
And to her, at this stage, it was part of a strategy. It was like a dream to always do one. And then now that she's done it, it's not like that was the thing that she really she didn't think it was going to be what it was.
Yeah.
It was great, taking the pictures with the red circle and the branding, but it was just kind of like, you know what? There's other ways to get booked to speak, and that's one of the main things. But it is a good way to get started. I think some of the success stories that I know from TEDx is Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
I had never heard of her, and then they said, well, she got her start by doing a TEDx talk, and it was like the 5-second rule,
Right.
and that went viral. I was like, okay, and so I never studied though all the other ones like that.
Well, here's the magic trick. Going to pull back the curtain. I know her team that helped her build her brand. She's been doing this for a while. TEDx was just the thing that kind of gave her the push, but she's been doing it. But as you said, that was the springboard at the time. And however it got viral, did they put it in media, or did they use ads? Like, we don't really know. I don't know.
Right.
But the thing is, I think people have to understand, like, just remember, it may not work the way you think. So don't hold all your eggs in one basket with that one play. I think a lot of people do that. Oh, I'm going to do TEDx. We've been fortunate to put people on TV and other media sources just like you. And people have this still concept, like, if I'm on TV, I'll make it. I'm like, it's not going to work like that. So let's just not do it. Because, like, even if you get on Good Morning America, right? the viewership, the watch time on Good Morning America may not give you what you want. Maybe if the journalist doesn't interview correctly, what happens if they don't like you for the day? They don't like you just for whatever, because what you look like, what you sound like, and they don't ask the right questions. That 3 minutes of their time, maybe they cut it early because something happens in the election. Like there's so many variables that can go wrong for one moment that you can't control. And that's kind of where we have to understand it's better to be moving as a speaker, doing a lot. So when you do that, you're like, that's cool. Oh, it went well. Great. But I don't rely on all of the energy for that to go big.
That is it. That is so good. Do not rely on that one moment to define your entire career. Not the one book, not the one speech, not the one contract, any
Yeah.
of that. It is a combination of a strategy, and you do have to do
Yeah.
that. Before we leave out, JJ, I want to ask, did you know you were from Australia? I don't know how long you've been here. Do you know
Sure.
James Schramko?
I've heard of his name. I don't know him personally.
He's from
Should I know him?
Australia. I love him. He's a surfer. He loves to surf. He spends like, I think he says 4 hours a day surfing. He's got this lifestyle business. I've followed him for years. He's got a great podcast. You should really get on this podcast. You both have the same accent, but he's so
Okay.
cool. He's so
Okay.
cool. He used to be in sales. He used to sell cars. Okay. And now he just does online stuff, but he doesn't really work real hard at it. He's built this fabulous team. James Schramko. Yeah. So that's what I was wondering if
Yeah,
you knew him.
there's about 3 of us in Australia. So I'm sure I'll bump into him.
Of course, that's kind of like what they do with black people. I know somebody black. Do you know them? It's like, no,
Yeah.
I don't.
They live,
But
they live in Atlanta. You know them? I know. Think you know them. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Janice, I
no.
know her.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, April Ryan was one of the things when that she was a black journalist and she was in the White House when the other president was there, and she mentioned something about the caucus. Did he speak to the Black Caucus, Congressional Black Caucus? He says,
Right.
"No, can you get them on the phone with me?" She was like, "I don't know them. I was just saying." And anyway, it went so viral in that moment that she became very famous, and now she's doing very, very well. It's like that one little blip of someone just saying something to her like that.
Well, just to pause on that, that's a really good point to share, because as a strategist, right, this is what I do to help people just like you. Sometimes all it takes is you kind of got to be doing stuff and putting stuff out there. Now, that obviously she didn't plan that, but
No.
like, look at that have you seen that new Hawk Tour girl that's going viral? The girl that went viral, she's going Hawk Tour. Have you seen her?
No,
Okay,
I
she's
haven't. Go look
like
for
a
it.
young Midwestern girl that they asked her about something about men. She makes a very cute, but it's a little derogative joke in the sexual kind of like dating space. And she went viral from a 5-second video. She now has a book. She's now getting invited to go on podcasts. She's now doing TV appearances. So
She
it's like,
couldn't have planned that. She
yeah,
couldn't have planned it.
no, she was on the street. He's like, hey, let me ask you, how do you look after your boyfriend? It's something like derogatory and
Right.
sexual, right?
Right.
But it just went viral, and now she's got this big career. So, I think this is why speakers have to understand, you got to keep moving, Pam. You got to, like, a lot of them sit in there like, well, you don't understand how I feel, and I was on Oprah 10 years ago, or no one cares. Like, they don't
Yeah.
care.
No,
Like,
no. You're only as good as your last
big,
speech or your last media hit. Okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what people are going to remember. That is so true. As a publicist, I know for a fact that people were like, well, did you get people on such and such? I said, yeah, but that was years ago. We've got to do new things all the time. I can't just say, oh, well, I got people on Good Morning America. I got them in Oprah magazine. Yeah. Well, what are you doing today? That whole thing. Like, what are you doing for me lately? So that is one of the things. Keep moving. Keep putting your what I call your backlinks out there, telling your story,
Yeah.
making the connections, going on IG, following JJ Live. Just really, how do I say it? One of the main things that you really want to make sure is that, and it's nothing wrong with Facebook ads. I like Facebook
Yeah.
ads. People can do that, but don't think that that's going to be your magic bullet.
Once again,
Okay.
magic bullet, one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the TEDx talk is just one thing, part of a strategy, and you
Right.
will never know, like what we just said, what might go viral, what might catch on.
Yeah.
One of the things that I find that that I didn't know in my career was this particular young lady. This was actually a billboard,
Right.
and she was a client of mine, and she got some photos done, and people always said, you're so vibrant, you're so vibrant. She's over 70 years old. She's over 70.
Wow.
And she said, so I said, well, get some pictures down. Let's send them to the agent, the people who book people. They did. They got her photos, they loved it, and we I think it was, like, Monday, and then by Friday, they called her for audition, and she says, "Guess what?" She says, "They called me." I said, "They did already?" She said, "Yeah, I have an audition." She said, "And it's in a swimsuit." I'm like, "Okay." And anyway, she was freaking out about it. She'd never done any modeling before, and she ends up on a billboard. She comes out in mailers and all that, it's like it's a big thing. So then from there, AARP is saying, "Hey, we love you to come and speak and da da this." And so that one thing of someone saying, "Hey, why don't you?" And then it blows up. So
But she took action. She took action. You know what I mean? You helped her. Like they made moves. Like it just takes that one thing one time. But it's a. I always say this, Pam. Are you in this? When I speak to speakers, what is the reason you're doing this, right? And they'll tell me. And if you want to do it for money, that's fine. Like just be honest with me. Don't say I want to share my message with the world. Okay, do you want to do it for free? No, I need money. Oh, so you need money. So that's okay. Let's just be honest. And
right.
then you have to remember, speaking is a skill set, just like marketing, just like being a publisher, just like running a bakery. You got to think: are you in this today, or are you in this forever?
Mhm.
And
I
if you
love
come
that.
up with that attitude, like I'm speaking for the rest of my life, then you don't get caught up. Oh, one gig doesn't work out. TEDx didn't get me the views I wanted. Like I'm a speaker forever. So
Yeah.
like until I die, until I can't speak, then I'll stop. But like I'm not looking at this like this month I got to make that. Like play the long game because
Yeah.
it's easier for your mindset and your soul, and people can feel it too. They know
Yeah.
when you're like, yeah, I need it now. I need it. Like just let it be. You know.
One of the things that I always tell people that marketing is a ing. It's continual. It's all the time. And I like the way you say marketing. You say marketing, and that's one
Yeah.
of the things I was teasing somebody. I said they say marketing. I was like, I like the
Marketing.
way you say marketing.
Yeah.
It's not marketing. It's marketing. I was like, okay,
Yeah. Some
but it is
marketing.
the ing. It is. It's an ing, and it's continual. So TEDx is part of your marketing strategy, which
Right.
is a
Right.
continual. So I want people to follow you, JJ Live. I'm going to put in the show notes some other information for them to really take how you place people in TEDx talks
Sure.
and how they can get that and get going with that. You kind of tell them the real deal, what to expect with that. But thank you so much for joining Speakers Magazine. This has been good. This has been
Thanks
good.
again.
Thank.
Thanks.
uh,
Thanks. Bye bye.
Take care. All right. Bye bye. So that is JJ Live. Make sure you follow him on IG. I'll put in the show notes where you can find out more about him. But with that, I'm Pam Perry, and I am out. Take care. Bye bye.